Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mataji, for a wonderful Kirtan. Would like to invite His Grace Ramakrishna Prabhu to our Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mataji, for a wonderful. Sorry. That's right. So I would like to invite His Grace Ramakrishna Prabhu for today's session. It is very, very auspicious to have Prabhuji's presence amongst us. Uh, uh, Prabhuji, with your permission, I would like to take this privilege of introducing you for His Grace to the audience. Prabhuji is a wonderful Vaishnava and handling very deeply involved with the Shamdayas development of Shamdayas congregation. Prabhuji is professionally working in UAE for the last 25 years in one of the well-known business as a plant manager. Prabhuji has completed his Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta courses and also teachers training courses, both 1 and 2, and Bhakti Shastri teachers training course. And he is very deeply involved in preaching activities, taking care of hundreds of Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav students. And we have fortune to have Prabhuji as our teacher in ongoing Bhakti Vedanta course. Um, we are just completing module unit 1 of module 1. So Prabhuji is a very senior disciple of His Holiness Jayaprakash Maharaj, and more than 2 decades he has been into this movement and um, spreading the Krishna consciousness to Yari Dekhe Taraka Krishna Upadesh. So he's strictly following the instructions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Prabhuji is, as mentioned, he is very, very actively involved in Shamdesh congregation, and there he is taking care of many Bhakti Vriksha groups, more than 25 to my knowledge. And he is also taking care of other congregational activities like Rath Yatra, Janmashtami, and other festivals. So it is really, it is not just simply a glorification by mouth, but I seen Prabhuji first time 2 years ago when Her Grace Bhautali Mataji is, introduced Prabhuji to us, and Prabhu took a session in Adilila 2 years ago. So it is really our fortune that Prabhu has accepted with a very short notice that please bestow the mercy upon all the congregational, all the CC group members. Prabhuji, this group we are conducting for last 6 years plus, just slightly above 6 years. Since I was in Krishna Katha Desh, we started this systematic study of Chaitanya Caritamrta, and every Saturday we are religiously meeting for an hour, and we are trying to invite other senior Vaishnavas from different congregations, and sometimes even Maharajas come for this group. So they bestow their mercy upon us, and it is really our fortune that today you are amongst us, and we request your grace to please bestow your causeless mercy upon us and take us through the journey of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu to South India. Hare Krishna. Ratna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for your kind words, Raman Kanai Prabhu. Though I am actually having no qualification, it's only the mercy of wonderful devotees like you who are giving us an opportunity and a platform. Thank you very much. So I would like, first of all, to thank the Krishna Katha Desh congregation and the organizers there, and also others. As I understand, many of you are also joining from Mathura Desh and other places. So my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnava. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that his spiritual master found him to be a fool, and therefore he asked him to continue to chant the holy names. So, taking the similar kind of a mood, I would like to seek your blessings so that we can try together to glorify the wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has simply incarnated in this age of Kali to give us the opportunity to associate with the holy names, with the Supreme Lamb, and also with all the wonderful devotees of Gaura Sundara. So, here today we will be discussing, as I was informed, to speak on the pastimes of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, visiting the holy places in South India. And the narration that we would be discussing today is about Lord visiting Setubandha, that is Rameshwaram. And there he finds some very interesting uh, aspects of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes. And he also finds a wonderful original manuscript of Kurma Purana, which is very much relished and one of the 18 Mahapuranas. So we will discuss a few points from there and try to take some inspiration. With your causeless mercy, we should be able to travel through this journey. And I hope that most of you who have visited the South India, especially Sri Rameshwaram, will also relish this pastime as we narrate a few perspectives there. Is my voice clear to all of you? Are you able to hear me clearly, audible?
Prabhu, slightly, if it is possible to increase the volume or come closer to,
Sure.
with the full 100% audio at our end, we are able to uh, hear, but if it is possible to slightly adjust, that will be
Certainly. I try to speak a little louder
this
so that it
perfect.
becomes. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And request all to keep your videos on, so that it helps all of us to properly connect to Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Someone has raised his hand. Is there something I can serve them first? Okay, thank you. So I would like to share a first small prayer that we can offer to the Supreme Lord. One from Chaitanya Charitamrta and one from Chaitanya Bhagavata. Most of you may be knowing these prayers as well, but it is very interesting at this point to meditate upon the Supreme Lord in this way. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya-lila 1.1.32. Anarpitachariim chirat karunaya tirnaya kalau samarpayitam unnato jvalarasam svabhakti sriyam Haripurata Sundara Dhyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandare Spurava Sachinandana. This is about the glorious golden form of the Supreme Lord, who has incarnated by his own mercy simply to give something which has never been awarded by any other incarnation. That is his own love, the love of Godhead, freely, and he appears in his most beautiful golden form. And may the Supreme Lord be residing within the caves of our hearts. The other one, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur glorifies a very beautiful verse also, describing the form of the Supreme Lord and especially uh, his incarnation to inaugurate the Sankirtana movement. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadhatau Sankirtanaikapitaro kamalayatakshu विश्वम्भरौ द्विजयुगौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ Karunavataro. May that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very, very tall, and may he accept our respectful obeisances at his lotus feet, along with Lord Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu, whose arms extend down to their knees, who have golden yellow complexions, and who inaugurated the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Their eyes resemble the petals of lotus flower. They are the maintainers of the living entities, the best of the Brahmanas, the protectors of religious principles. For this age, the benefactors of the universe, and the most merciful of all incarnation. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. This is a very beautiful prayer also, which Srila Kaviraj Krishnadas Goswami often prays before he begins his narratives. So remembering Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu along with Nityananda Prabhu and his entire entourage, headed by Advaita Acharya, may their causeless mercy be bestowed upon us so that we can speak about the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I would like to take you to the small overview of this particular chapter in which the Lord visits the holy places. Uh, Primarily in this chapter, we can see that the Lord is having almost like 365 verses or 335 verses probably. Uh, the Lord visits South India after having visited many other places, and he comes to this place called as Setu Banda or the present day Rameshwaram. He begins his travel towards this place from the South Mathura, which is also called as Madurai, after having taken the darshan there of Madurai Meenakshi, the mother Durga. He meets a wonderful Vaishnava by Ramadasa Vipra, who is a Rama Bhakta and is very, very fond of the Supreme Lord, especially in that incarnation. And he meets at a very specific time when this Ramadasa Vipra invites the Supreme Lord to his home to have some lunch. And the Lord observes that Ramadasa Vipra has become very, very morose because of constantly remembering his thoughts immersed in the separation, feeling of separation of Lord Ram is experiencing after the kidnapping of Mother Sita. So he could not properly serve the lunch also to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord took some special care and affection towards him and consoled him that it is actually, uh, there is no one who can actually touch Mother Sita. She's being the purest and belonging to the transcendental potency of the Lord. So whoever was actually kidnapped by Ravana was someone as a illusory Sita. But that could not help Ramadas Vipra to overcome his grief and trying to console him, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after that bids farewell and goes to Rameshwar. There what happens and what are the other events that gets uh, unfolded is the specific narrative that we will be doing in today's session. And an important and an interesting finding that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sees in relationship with this pastime is the finding of Kurma Purana. So the section that is relevant today is consoling the Rama Bhakta, Brahmana, that is Ramadasa Vipra, with Kurma Purana's revelations. This happens in the chapter between the verses 178 to 217, but we will be focusing on the section from 200 to 217. So I would like to take you through the chapter itself. Are you able to see the text here with the Vedabase?
Yes, Prabhuji. Veda is the word
No,
file.
it's only word file.
Okay, fine. Right. I hope now you're able to see this.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So in this particular verse, the Setu Bandha, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits this place called as Rameshwara. Setu Bande Asi Kaila Dhanush Tirthe Snana Rameshwara Dekhi Kataha Karila Vishram. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Setu Banda, where he took his bath at the place called Dhanush Tirtha. Dhanush Koti or Dhanush Tirtha is a little bit further away, around 50 kilometers further from Rameshwar, quite deep into the sea. Sometimes it is manifested and sometimes it's completely covered by the ocean water. From there, he visited Rameshwar temple and then took rest. So Prabhupada mentions about how to reach to this place and what is the specific significance of this place. So beginning from verse 200, here we will see what are the different things that gets unfolded in this chapter. विप्रसभाय सुनेताः कूर्मपुरान् तारामध्य इलपति व्रत उपाख्यान्. So there in the Rameshwara Kshetra, he had met several Brahmanas who were very educated and learned from the South India, and they were discussing about Kurma Puran. And in that, in fact, in the Kurma Puran, it is so mentioned, many of the major verses and chapters cover about the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, and especially in that, this particular pastime of the kidnapping of Mother Sita is specific there. Within the Kurma Puran, there are two khandas or the divisions called as Uttarakhand and the uh, Purvakhand and Uttarakhand. And in this, it is referred that Kurma Puran contains 6,000 verses, but according to Srimad Bhagavatam, the original Kurma Purana contains 17,000 verses, almost as big and large as Srimad Bhagavatam itself. It is considered the 15th of the 18 Mahapuranas. So before I further go on to this, I would like to take your attention to actually understand a few lessons from Kurma Purana itself. So this would be for the benefit of the audience. So Kurma Purana is one of the 18 major Mahapuranas and is considered a significant text in Vaishnavism. It is about Lord Vishnu in the form of Kurma, and he primarily narrates the glories of Lord Vishnu in this. And we can see that within the the Purva Kanda, it is basically covering cosmological, metaphysical, and religious themes, and is primarily in the form of a conversation between Lord Vishnu as Kurma and the sage Narada. Most of the Puranas we see that Narada and Vishnu, even the Naradiya Pancharatra is also a 5 day and night discourse between Lord Vishnu and Narada. So something very interesting is coming up here. In the Kurma Avatara, the text opens with the story of the churning of the ocean, Samudra Mantana. This is in Purvakanda. And then the creation, the dissolution, about the cosmological aspects, which is also dealt very detailedly and more specifically about Varnana of cosmology. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, where in the fifth canto we see a lot of revelations are also taken from Kurma Purana there. And it explains the process of creation, maintenance, and dissolutions, and through the manifestation of Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and talking about the mm, Gunavataras and their specific roles. And it is very detailedly describing about the lokas, its specific locations, dimensions, and positions as well. And also, it deals with various kinds of religious practices in terms of dharma. Basically, because the Puranas also deal with dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, and Purva Purana also deals greatly with the religious principles. And then worship of the Vishnu is the significant emphasis in this. Also, it mentions about the worship of Goddess Durga, and glimpses of various incarnations are mentioned, and therefore we are seeing Kurma Avatara also as a specific pastime in this particular Puran. And also it speaks of yugas and the cycles of the time of all the four yugas and how various pastimes takes place there. And the Uttarakanda interestingly speaks very largely about bhakti yoga and devotional service. That is why Narada and Vishnu's dialogue specifically is mentioned in this particular place. And Pativrata Mahatmya, the glories of the chaste woman. In this particular section is what we are seeing today about the perspective of the kidnapping of Sita, how such a great chaste woman was never could be touched by any such kind of a demoniac personalities. And also we see the significance of going to various Tirtha Kshetras. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's coming to Rameshwara as a Tirtha is also one of the significant inspirations that is mentioned in Kurmavataras, this Kurma Purana. Then in different places, what kind of sacred religious activities one can perform is also mentioned here. Then some holy places mention of Kurukshetra, Prayaga, and other locations where various pastimes of the Vishnu Avatar has taken place. And also some instructions on how Raja Dharma has to be followed and so on. So going back to the verses there, which was seen in the chapter, we'll further talk on that. Pativrata Shiromani Janaka Nandini Jagatera Mata Sita Ramera Grihini. About Srimati Sita Devi, who is the wife of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra, and she is a very, very chaste woman that is mentioned in this particular text. Ravana dekhiya Sita Laila Angira Agnira Sharan Ravana haite Agni Kaila Sita ke avaran. When Ravana came to kidnap Mother Sita and she saw him, she took the shelter of fire god Agni. And she took the fire shelter of Agni because uh, Lakshmana, the brother of Lord Rama, who was there as a protector of Mother Sita, had drawn a line which he requested that Sita should not be crossing. And she said that no one else also can cross and come into your location. So Ravana was trying to come inside, but every time there was a fire that was emanating from this boundary, invisible boundary, and he could not enter. So it is mentioned here that Mother Sita, when Ravana was trying to abduct her, realizing the uh, conspiracy, she actually took the shelter of Agnideva, and Lord Agnideva took her to Mother Durga, or the goddess Parvati, and there she manifested a form which is called as Maya Sita, and that was instantly brought in front of Ravana, and Ravana could actually take her that illusory form of Mother Sita. Hmm. Maya Sita Ravana Nila Sunila Akhyane Suni Mahaprabhu Hoila Anandita Mane. So, hearing that this is what actually has happened, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very, very happy for two reasons. One, in the Madurai, he had already narrated this story to Ramadas Vipra and stated that it was never possible for a demoniac person to actually touch Mother Sita. And now that it is confirmed from the Kurma Purana, he had a great compassion to take this manuscript and then give it to Ramadas Vipra so that he could read that, understand, and he become consoled, saying that Mother Sita was not kidnapped actually by Ravana. शीतलान रखिले ना पार्वतीर स्थाने Maya Sita diya Agni Vanchila Ravane. The fire god Agni took away the real Sita and brought her to the place of Parvati, goddess Durga. An illusory form of Mother Sita was then delivered to Ravana, and in this way Ravana was cheated. Raghunatha Siyabhe Ravana Marila Agni Pariksha Dite Yave Sitara Nila. After Ravana was killed by this way, by Sri Lord Ramachandra's arrows, Sita Devi was brought before the fire and she had to test herself of her chastity and purity. So there was a Agni Pariksha, the fire test was conducted. Tabe Maya Sita Agni Kori Antardhana Satya Sita Ani Dila Rama Vidyamana. When that illusory Sita was brought before the fire by Lord Ramachandra, the fire god made the illusory form disappear and delivered the real Sita to Lord Ramachandra. So one may think in this perspective, is Agnideva more powerful than Lord Ramachandra? That he is demonstrating these kind of a pastimes? Actually, Agnideva is a servant of Lord Rama, just like how Hanuman is a servant of Lord Rama. So even in many, many other pastimes also of various incarnations, we find Agnideva a very important servant of the Supreme Lord, manifesting various such kinds of pastimes. So simply to serve and to be obedient to the desire and the will of the Supreme Lord, Agnideva manifested, or rather, he requested Mother Sita to come in front of Lord Ramachandra, who was at that time of those years of kidnapping, was in the shelter of Mother Parvati. Sunini, sorry, Sunina Prabhura Nandita Hoile Mana Ramadasa Viprera Katha Ahila Smarana. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this story, he was very pleased and he remembered the words of Ramadas Vipra. Ei sab siddhanta suni Prabhura Ananda Haila Brahmanera Stane Magi Sei Patra Nila. So he requested all those brahmanas in the Setubandha to give him this particular copy of the manuscript. He requested them actually to give the original manuscript. So he felt great happiness, and the brahmanas, with their permission, he took the position of this manuscript and he leaves the Kurma Purana, the leaves of the Kurma Purana. Nutana patra lekhana pustake deyola pratiti lagi puratana patramagi lila. Therefore, he took the original manuscript and then he ordered for making several copies of that. And then he wanted to present this original evidence to Ramadasa Vipra. Patralana puna dakshina mathura ila Ramadasa Viprasi patrani dila. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned back again to Mathura or the Madurai and delivered the original manuscript to Kurma of the Kurma Purana to Ramadasa Vipra. And then within the Kurma Purana, we see these particular two verses mentioned, which speaks about this narrative of Mother Sita, who was replaced by Maya Sita, and in illusion, Ravana took her. Sitya aradito vaknis chaya sitam ajijanat tam jahara dashagrivaha sita vakni puram gata. Pariksha samaye vaknim chaya sita dvesh sa vakni sitam samaniya tat purastad aniyat. So when he was petitioned by Mother Sita, the fire god Agni brought forth an illusory form of Sita, and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped all Sita. The original Sita was then went to the abode of the fire god. When Lord Ramachandra tested the body of Sita, it was false illusory Sita that entered the fire. At the time, the fire god brought the original Sita from his abode and delivered her to Ramachandra. Then from the Kurma Purana, this was mentioned. Furthermore, Patrapana Viprera Haila Anandita Mana Prabhura Charane Dhari Koraye Krandana. Then Ramadas Vipra was very pleased to receive this original leaf, and then he immediately fell down at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to cry because he remembered that previously he had requested the Lord to come and have lunch, but then the Lord was not, he was not able to serve the Lord properly because of his so much of grief that he had, remembering the separation of Mother Sita. विप्र कहे तुम्ही साक्षात श्री रघुनंदन सन्यासी वेशे मोरे दिला दर्शन. You have actually brought this manuscript. It is only possible that you are none other than Lord Sri Ramachandra, and therefore I offer my obeisances unto you. You just come here in the form as if dressed as a sannyasi. Mahadukka hoite more korila nistar aji mora grahe bhiksha karangikar. Now you have actually relieved me from this great separation and feel of distress. Oh my dear Lord, now today you please accept my invite or the request to come and have your lunch at my place. মনোদুকে ভালা ভিক্ষা না দিলা সেই দিনে মোরা ভাগ্যে পুনরপি পাইলুম দর্শনে. Now that I have got this great fortune of having you again seen, may you please accept my invite and take the prasada at my place. And I could not actually serve you during that time because of my mental distress. Oh, my dear Lord, please accept my offerings to you. एता बलि सेविप्रा सुखे पाका कैला उत्तम प्रकारे प्रभु के भिक्षा करिला. So therefore he offered a wonderful lunch with many, many different varieties. And then the Lord was very happy to accept these offerings. After having that, then the night followed. Lord, from there, he went to the place called as Tamraparni, which is further down from Madurai. That's the next section in which the Lord performs further pastimes that could be seen. So, what can we take some inspiration in this particular uh, chapter or this particular section here? Let us just try to meditate on that and see how every perspective is so interesting in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, I would like to share some specific points for your benefit and also good for our overall reading here. So the first encounter, what we see here is in the Setu Bandha, where the Lord went to Rameshwara, and then he went to Dhanushkoti or Dhanush Tirtha, took shelter of hearing the rich history of that place, and then he comes to the temple of Rameshwara, wherein he hears the narrations from some of the very exalted Brahmanas who are masters in reciting the Puranas. Then we also see that the narrative that he specifically hears is about revelation of Maya Sita during the abduction of Sita by Lord Ravana. Then during this process, he also gets the opportunity to secure the manuscript of Kurma Purana, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requests the Brahmanas to provide him with manuscript as it holds great significance for this spiritual truth. So we can see that the last pastimes, especially as Lord Ramachandra, or sorry, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, uh, he is none other than Lord Sri Krishna himself. And we see that in South India, especially the places that he covered, beginning from Kurmakshetra in Andhra Pradesh, then coming to Narasimha Kshetra, there also there were discussions on many wonderful Puranic literatures. Then from the Narasimha Kshetra, he goes down further towards Godavari, where he meets Lord, his wonderful devotee and servant, Ramananda Raya. And there also they have very great, wonderful discussions. In fact, the most esoteric discussions takes place over there. After covering those places, he comes into Tamil Nadu. He comes to the Kanchipuram first, then afterwards further down he comes to Kumbakonam, and then further down he comes to Srirangam and Madurai, then goes into Rameshwara and further places. So in all of these places, it is stated that he had great opportunities to discuss, especially in Srirangam. He discussed with Venkata Bhatta a lot of Sri Vaishnava literatures, discussed about the Alvas, and there also he impressed about the and also emphasized about the abilities for one to become the devotee of Lord Sri Krishna in a great length. Venkata himself actually accepted these wonderful esoteric truths and offered his own son, Gopala Bhatta, as the servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who happens to be the sixth Goswami, as we see from the whole narratives. Likewise, Mahaprabhu here requested these Brahmanas, especially in Rameshwaram, to spare the original manuscript, and they were very happy to give it to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who arranged many different manuscripts being copied. After that, it was back to Ramadasa Vipra's place in Madurai. So even today, when we want to go to Rameshwara, taking the same kind of a mood, we begin from Srirangam, then come to Madurai, take the darshan of Mother Goddess Kamakshi, Madurai Meenakshi there, and then come to Rameshwara, and then come back again to Madurai, take the darshan of Mother. This is in the way how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that. And then afterwards, you can further go down to other locations down Madurai. So that is also an aspect when devotees go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's holy places, tracking those locations in South India. This can also be taken as a practice. There's some interesting key points that we can learn here is uh, about the protection of Sita and the role of Maya Sita. It is introducing the concept of the divine illusion, how the Supreme Lord protects his devotees from material contamination. This narrative not only affirms Sita's purity, but also conveys how divine figures remain untouched by material conditions. And also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasizes to resolve any kind of a Puranic aspects, either if it's a dispute or it is in perspective of understanding the scriptures, one should actually take shelter of the original scripts and then um, try to understand it from with great faith and authority. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took these Brahmanas there as an authority and Kurma Purana itself as a manifested scripture, which could be as a reference scripture to understand the pastimes of Mother Sita there. And also, we can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took special care to come back and bestowed his mercy on Ramadasa Vipra because he is also an eternal servant of the Lord. And thereby, the pastimes are in relationship with his pure devotees. And he performed this pastime to demonstrate his causeless compassion and mercy. We also see the relevance to the contemporary understanding here as a point that if we have any doubts, then we must consult scriptural knowledge. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also says, Yat Shastra Mutsrijya. If anyone actually rejects the Shastras, he is actually to be condemned. So we should always relate any scriptural reading and understanding, cross referencing them, and then becoming convinced of the facts presented. This will greatly help our own philosophical understanding and also gives us an opportunity to further become convinced and firm our faith in scriptures and take the shelter of the authorities. Then we also see that it's important that we preserve these spiritual traditions. Is also a responsibility. Like in ISKCON, we have these wonderful digital means by which we can protect these original scriptures, the Gaudiya Vaishnava scriptures as such, and also wonderful literature of Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which is being preserved by the Bhaktivedanta archives. And it could be that they are available for the generations to come. That's also one of the responsibilities as followers of ISKCON that we should do this. And then we also see as a compassionate leader, Mahaprabhu takes special attention even to a personally to even to a very insignificant persons, single person such as Ramadasa Vipra, simply to bestow his mercy, the Lord met him twice. That's something interesting also to see how the Lord gives causeless mercy. And some simple challenges that we can also see here that how normally it's difficult for normal people to conceive that Mother Sita was not the one who was actually captured by Ravana. So this cannot be understood simply by concoction. This has to be, there is no other way other than to accept this as it is from the scriptures, Puranas. So that's also a challenge which could be resolved by understanding that these are referenced in Puranas and taking shelter of them, one can resolve such type of challenge. And another one is, can we rely on the old manuscripts? And the resolution for this is yes. These are emphasized in those various Puranas, and one should take great interest in them and should also protect them. By doing this, one can relish the original nectar as they are, and then deep philosophical insights can also be understood in proper perspectives. So, thank you very much for giving this opportunity. I hope try to do some justice. Any shortcomings is only my ignorance. Kindly forgive me for that. And you can also comment something. I would request Ramanand Kanai Prabhu, a very senior leader, to also speak something to add on to this wonderful pastime, nectar of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Actually, your session revealed so many, clarified so many doubts. Actually, I always have been thinking about when we talk about the scriptures, the two things always bother me is why Krishna left Vrindavan and left all the gopis and went to Mathura and never came back. So that I again clarified by some other place. Actually, Krishna didn't go. He always there in Vrindavan. But this is another point which always was bothering me that how Ravana could kidnap Mother Sita. She was a goddess, Lord's consort herself. So how it is possible? Though we heard about this pastime of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu clarifying. No, it is not through Kurma Purana's revelation what we heard today. But always it was again a point to wonder that how the Maya Sita could remain in under custody of Ravana, and then the correlation between Mother Sita's interaction with Anjaneya, how she could recognize Anjaneya when she is not Mother Sita. So these are all things which are going on. But from today's session, also one point which you could get us, if I am correctly understood, Maya Sita is none other than Durga. So it is easy for Durga to definitely recognize Hanuman. So this is what my understanding. So please clarify if that understanding is right. And also, Prabhu, one beautiful point which is a kind of a personal application for every one of us is how Mother Sita was protected by replacing the illusion of Maya Sita. So when we completely surrendered to the Lord, so our devotion also is protected similar way, so that we are not come under illusion of so many Ravanasuras or other anarthas which are around us. So this is a very nice point revealed through today's session, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yes, as you were pointing out about whether Mother Sita, the Maya Sita, how could she understand about the esoteric understandings of Lord Ram, recognizing his servant, especially in the Ashoka Vatika when Hanuman appeared over there. Mother Sita was, as we understand, she was the one who actually proposed that Lord Ram should marry her. And Lord Ram said that I've already taken a vow in this particular yuga that I will be only Ekapatni Vrata. But this desire would be fulfilled when I would further take incarnation in Kali Yuga. At that time, I'm going to fulfill because she is Vedavati who has transformed herself into Padmavati. So the proposal of the divine energy is always there. And Mother Sita herself invested this potency in Maya Sita so that she could get every revelation of understandings to the extent that the glory of the Supreme Lord is actually portrayed. And she is actually an expansion, she's her own shadow. And the external manifestation of Mother Durga's point, because Mother Durga is Yogamaya herself, and therefore, wherever the Lord is performing any pastimes, her presence will always be there. So, how to camouflage the original personalities and how to bring an illusionary form. Therefore, Krishna says this point, even though in the Bhagavad Gita it is probably understood in a little different way, is that Daivi hi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. So, there the material energy is also called as Maya, is also the emanation of the Yoga Maya only. But then she is coming there in this material world for interaction with the materially oriented people with their type of mentalities. So she acts as an external energy of the Lord. But otherwise, it is the original energy of the Supreme Lord, which is manifested in two ways as internal and external. External, because all those who are in this material world have an external view towards the Supreme Lord, whereas the original spiritual world has the internal view, and therefore she remains there as an internal energy. Without those energies actually manifesting and performing various pastimes, no one can actually understand the Supreme Lord. So, yes, definitely, as Anjaneya was such a wonderful devotee, he could recognize the original Sita very clearly. And therefore, he made the proposal, Mother, you please sit on my shoulder. I will right away take you to my master. So that was his position as a son. So we can see so many. So sometimes it may be difficult or to understand with a very with common thinking or people who does not understand these esoteric things. Oh, Mother Sita went because Ravana called, she went there. Now is Hanuman is calling, so she's coming with her. What kind of a lady she is somehow sometimes people do speak or speculate like this. This is allowed by the Lord because you don't have an opportunity to come closer to me. So may your thinking be like this, so you remain far away from me. So this is the way the Lord actually protects also the original devotees from those who are pseudo devotees or those who try to play a role, because Lord doesn't have any kind of an affection towards them until and unless they are actually showing an inclination. In fact, the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a part that we are discussing in the Bhaktivedanta course, discusses this point. It's saying that Lord is not actually going to be affected by our praises or by our what do you call like ninda or stuti. Why? Because he doesn't have that kind of a response at all with him, because he's always and originally situated only in pure love. So any kind of a material perspectives that we may consider or concoct does not affect the Lord unless and until it has connection with pure love. Only then the Lord actually responds. So therefore, to understand these pastimes, even to Ramadasa Vipra, the Lord actually responded because of this pure love that he exhibited towards Lord Ramachandra. And he was unable to bear and think. Even though the incident had already passed away, it was yuga cycles have passed, but still he was always in the deep devotion. Same thing like what we see from the Kulashekara Alvar also, who just by hearing Ramayana, he became so much enthused. So likewise, we see these pastimes to be understood from uh, the pure devotee's perspective, which will actually enhance our love. Thank you, Prabhu, Ramanand Prabhu, that you really brought in those wonderful points. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
permission to give me this.
devotees, others have any comments, questions to add? Rajesh Prabhu, Giran Mataji, Natnesh Prabhu, any others who come on to add comments or questions? Rajesh Prabhu?
Prabhu Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam. Ramakrishna Prabhu Hare Krishna. Prabhu, very wonderful insights you have shared, and it is amazing. So thank you very much. Yeah, you brought about the bhava of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that by reading Kurma Purana he becomes happy when he understands that actually Mother Sita was not kidnapped, and when Sri Ramadas Vipra also learns this, he also becomes happy to know that. So thank you for revealing these insights and sharing this bhava, and also the learnings for us from these pastimes. Yeah, so how we can resolve our doubts based on the authenticity of the scriptures, and like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows compassion towards the Ramdas Avipra, those in the leadership position, how they can show compassion to others, and also further reinforces the faith that we should have in the Lord, that He will always protect us. May what come. We just need to surrender. He will reciprocate. So thank you so much, Prabhu. It is very pleasing. Hare Krishna. Please excuse my dress. I am in travel, so about to leave for another tour. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Girirani Mata.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam Prabhuji. This is just to humble comment, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Srila Prabhupada has advised us to, it instructed us many times to scrutinizingly, analytically read the scriptures. But Prabhuji, by your mercy, it's very helpful for us to how to analytically study and scrutinizingly study, and in various perspectives. In this incident of Kurma Ramadas Vipra, you have highlighted us about the importance of how Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so merciful. He took a detour. Usually he doesn't, in two instances he did a detour to relieve his pain of Ramadasa Vipra as well as Vasudeva Vipra. So his incident shows how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. And also you told us we have to imbibe the quality of the quality like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we also emphasized about the mood of the devotees visiting the pilgrimages and how to have great faith in scriptures. And thank you, Prabhu. And also how to have an authentic interpretation and stress the importance of those things, Prabhuji. And we have to preserve a spiritual tradition. Prabhuji has given us a responsibility of how we have to preserve the spiritual tradition and compassionate leaderships, like how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being a supreme personality of Godhead, he took the leadership, as well as he also instructed us how we have to be compassionate. Just for a single person, he was so compassionate, and it throws us more responsibility for us, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It opened our eyes how to read the scriptures, how to think various perspectives, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, and thank you, Sri Ramananda Kanai Prabhuji, for introducing Prabhuji, and Bhavtarni Mataji also, I thank her. She has introduced us kindly. Thank you so much, and all the devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhu, actually, you have a very wonderful way of understanding the scriptures through challenges and resolutions. Very new concept which we are learning through our Bhakti Vedanta course, and you are implementing here also. It is very wonderful that it is not just reading a scriptures as a novel reading or whatever it is, but also to understand the intricacies of the pastimes, intricacies of what Srila Prabhupada is talking about through the challenges and resolution. Very innovative and very creative concept. Thank you so much for sharing this concept to us. It is really helping us to deep dive into the scriptures and understand the real intricacies of the past steps. Thank you so much once again.
Hare Krishna.
Any other devotees have anything to add? Nitesh Prabhu, Radha Mataji, Sripada Mataji.
You please invite again, Prabhu, whenever you will permit.
Yeah, so many, actually, most of the group members here, they're all mostly the preachers. They're doing different courses at different levels, and some of them you already know we're all part of, we have been passing through this journey, right from Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhavana, Bhakti Vedanta. So most of the members of this group, we are traveling together, right from Bhakti Shastri onwards. And it is purely your causeless mercy that we're able to pass through this journey smoothly.
Yeah. My prayers to the Supreme Lord for all your success and also for your deep diving into the scriptures, relishing it first with the content of your heart and then spreading it and giving it to the others. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you once again. So, thank
Thank
you all the
you.
devotees for attending today's session. It's an amazing, wonderful session. So we are all have a deep gratitude towards Prabhu for sharing, for sparing his time. Prabhu is very, very busy in his preaching activities and also taking care of congregational activities in Shamdesh. But still, Prabhu, out of his cosmic mercy, has accepted our invitation and shown the light on us and taken us through the wonderful pastime of Lord Chaitanya Prabhu traveling through South India. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much once again, Prabhu, to you and all the devotees for attending today's session. His Grace Ram Krishna Prabhu ki Jai.
पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय उपस्थित गौर भक्त। Thank you.